everyone, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel, and this is your tip of the week. This is a gathered skirt, and what's different about it is it's not only gathered at the waistline because of the elastic, but this section is gathered up here, and then this one down here is also gathered. And there is a special presser foot that you can use that will do this step for you. Because normally when you're making a gather, you got to stitch 2 rows of basting stitch, then manually gather it up, pin it onto your fabric, and then stitch it down. So I'm going to show you the presser feet that will cut all of that out of the picture. Now, both of these presser feet do the same thing in exactly the same way, except this one is for a serger sewing machine, and this little one, whoops, got it upside down, is for a regular sewing machine. So when you're using these, your fabric that's not going to be gathered is inserted up here in this slit, and the fabric to be gathered goes underneath it. And the same thing on this one. You'll see that little slit. The fabric goes in there, and you put your fabric to be gathered underneath. You set your machine to a basting stitch so that it will gather. The longer your basting stitch, the more gathering you will get. So as you're sewing, the fabric on the top that's not going to be gathered, it will automatically try pulling to your left. Make sure when you are holding onto that top fabric, you are pulling it slightly to the right so that it will come out evenly with the fabric on the bottom. Most of your sewing machines do not come with that presser foot. You have to purchase it online. My serger did come with that presser foot, but not all sergers will probably have it. So I recommend you go to a website called sewingpartsonline.com, and for a sewing machine, you just search for gathering presser foot, and then for a serger, enter serger ruffle presser foot. I occasionally get a question from a viewer who wants to know how to make a tablecloth, not a table runner, but a tablecloth that covers the entire table. Well, it's hard for me to answer that kind of question in the comment section because everybody's table is a different size and different shape. So I'm just going to give you a few measuring suggestions on how to get started on it. So here's a rectangle table, which is what I have. Mine's really long, so it's hard to find tablecloths to fit it. So the first thing you want to do is measure the length, then measure your width. And then you want to decide how much fabric do I want to hang over the edge. So I call that the drop length. So figure that out. Multiply it times 2 and write it in there. And then your hem width. Do you want a big hem or you just want to fold it under a couple of times? So multiply that times 2. Then you're going to add it to your measurements up here. The problem with making a tablecloth, especially if you want it all one piece, is finding fabric that's big enough for your table, especially if you have a large table. Extra wide fabrics, there's not a lot of variety in it. There's just a few prints or colors offered in it. More than likely, you're going to have to go on the internet to search for extra wide fabric. So I don't bother with that. So as in this example you're looking at right now, this is a 4-patch tablecloth that I made. I wanted to use these fabrics. I didn't want to buy any more. And so I cut it up into 4 different sections and did just like a regular 4-patch pattern. One of the problems I had was when I was making it is I was in a hurry. And so my center seam area where they came together didn't turn out so nice. So I went and looked through some of my small table toppers. I found this small red check one, and I set it on top to cover up my big old mistake. Now, supposing you don't want to do a 4-patch, but maybe you have a lot of fabric, you can cut into strips. I'm not saying they have to be these colors. And so you stitch them together. They can be any width you want. They can all be different widths, and then finish it off with a really nice edge. This is a square tablecloth that I made quite a while back, and I like to put square tablecloths on a rectangle table, and I usually have the pointed edge hanging over each side of the table. And this was all the same color of yellow, but different prints. Even the border is a different print. Now, I like to line my tablecloths. And so all I did was measured the size of my tablecloth for the top, and then got some more fabric and stitched it on the back. So it can be maybe multiple colors of fabric, just so it's big enough. And then you would just stitch it together like a placemat. You would layer the two, stitch around all 4 edges, leave an opening so you can turn it front side out. And then when you're done, you should do a stitch around the edge all the way around 4 sides. If you want this square pattern, let me show you how to lay out your squares. So the layout I'm going to show you is give you a nice diagonal pattern on your tablecloth. So you stack like fabrics together and just pull one out of each pile like this. Then on your next row, you start with this one, the second one up here, and lay them out all the way around. And then when you get to the end of this row, you go back over here and lay it out. So then on your next row, you're going to start with the third color and go all the way around. Then the row after that, this color, and the next row, this color. And then if it's still, till you get to that size, you repeat the whole process, go back to this. For most of my tablecloths, I will use my serger to bind the edges and stitch them together. If you don't have a serger, you can either do a crazy zigzag stitch, which looks kind of sloppy, and then do a row of straight stitch right next to it so it holds it all together. Or use an overcast stitch. Then you don't necessarily have to use a straight stitch next to it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tip of the week and that you learned something new. Remember, I will have links below your YouTube screen in the description section that will take you to some of these projects. So if you want more detailed information. So scroll down. When you see the word more, click on it. That description section will expand open and you will see all of the links appearing. Now, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and make sure you check out my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and happy sewing. If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl, this is Manny, and this is Scotty. See you next time.